Chapter 4. Collecting Evidence. "This looks like a poop farm," exclaims my little sister. "Thanks for that keen observation, Haley," I murmur. Miss Fefferland had just waddled into her house, wringing her hands and clacking away about catching the bandit that's polluting her lawn. And I must admit, if you could see beyond the dog poops, her lawn was an amazing accomplishment, like a smooth green carpet. "I need to make a map of the evidence field," I say, pulling out my sketch pad. "Oh, like a treasure map for flies," my sister giggles. "If you haven't already noticed, my little sister Haley has an amazing talent for driving me insane." "Well, like it or not, Haley, this is evidence," I explain. "The orderly collection of evidence is a key skill of the successful detective." "It looks like you already collected some evidence on the bottom of your shoe," she says, and begins laughing as loud as an opera singer. "Ugh. Oh, that's a fresh one," I gag, trying my best not to hurl on Mrs. Fefferland's beautiful lawn. "Oh my gosh, that's so gross!" Haley manages to squeeze in between giggles and snorts, fully enjoying the first misstep of my investigation. "Haley, just go home and get me another pair of shoes," I growl between my clenched teeth. "Yes, sir, Mr. Great Detective," she says while saluting. Then she runs back across the street and into her house shouting, "Poop alert! Poop alert!" That's when I make my first discovery in the case. All the evidence looks like it came from a small dog, but the fence around this yard is almost 3 feet high and will be difficult for a small dog to jump over. "The game is certainly afoot," I whisper as I scrape the bottom of my shoe on the curb. "How about these, Sherlock?" Haley screams from our front door. She flings her old pair of lavender ballet slippers onto our front steps. She squeals in delight and slams the door with a bang so loud that my teeth loosen. "That's some assistant," I say, shaking my head. Chapter 5. Help around the house. "What do you know about dog poop?" I ask my older sister Jessie as she scribbles away at her homework. I should mention here that not every decision a young detective makes is the right one. One decision I should have skipped was seeking help from friends and family. "What?" Jessie huffs. She looks at me with her mouth open, her eyes partly rolled back in her head. I'm never sure what this look means, especially since she makes this face no matter what's happening around her. "Oh, it's the turd nerd," she finally moans. "Mom told me all about your big case, and if you tell anyone at school, I'll kill you. Now get out, Inspector Dork." "Thanks for all your love and support," I say as I shut her door. Saying something nice when you really mean something nasty is called sarcasm. My best friend Lance Peaker taught me this trick, and it drives Jessie crazy. My next mistake is asking my mom for help. My mom babysits houseplants for people. She operates her business out of our living room, which is always filled with strange plants from around the neighborhood. She talks to these plants, which really spoofs Lance whenever he comes over. "Mom, have you seen any strange dogs lately?" I ask. She's on the phone with a nervous owner of a sticky orchid. As she talks, she starts spraying my hair with her mister bottle and using her fingers to comb my hair into my dad's goofy hairstyle. Now I look more like a nervous elf than a private detective. I exit quickly. I find my dad catching up on his paperwork at the kitchen table. He's a quality assurance engineer, which is a fancy way of saying he shuffles papers around his desk all day. Sometimes these papers even shuffle all the way onto our kitchen table. "Dad, what's your experience with dog poop?" I ask in an official voice. After staring at me for a long time, he says, "Sherlock, have you given any thought to joining a sports team? Fresh air and exercise might be good for you." Just forget it," I mumble. When my mom hangs up the phone, I call Lance to see if he can come over and help me with the case. "No thanks," says Lance. "I have to watch TV." "You don't have to watch TV, Lance," I say. "You can come over now and watch TV later, after we solve the case." "Well, I have to watch this educational show about flying squirrels with my grandma before I can play a video game," Lance says, very slowly because he's watching the flying squirrel show while we're talking. "Thanks for helping me out, friend," I say. "Hey, You're getting good at this sarcasm stuff, he says. Grandma, did you see that crazy squirrel miss the tree? Ugh. See ya, Sherlock. Bye, I say, hanging up the phone. Lance is my best friend, but he's extremely lazy for someone his age. When I notice Haley watching the same show about soaring tree squirrels, I sigh. Like a train that comes to a complete stop and squirts out steam. This is something I must do alone, I say. To no one in particular. Before I head out the front door, I do the single most important thing a detective must do to solve a crime. Chapter 6. The Unusual Suspects. In detective movies, the main guy always writes up a list of people he suspects could have done the crime. Then, he keeps scratching names off the list one by one. This is a good idea because it helps everybody watching the movie to start guessing who did it. I create my first list of suspects by simply making a list of the neighborhood dogs. I look over my list until I'm satisfied. I'm feeling better already, but time's slipping away. If I can nab the mystery doo-doo dog before dinner, I'll be $10 richer by bedtime.